Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Daisy. For those of you that don't know, you probably don't know because I have 3 subscribers. What was this? 6? I think I did like 5. I don't know. And one of those was my husband, so whatever. But yeah, but welcome back. Thanks for actually tuning in. I'll get straight to the point. So I'm going to talk about, or I just wanted to talk about being in the UC system as a Latinx person, as a minority, as our experiences are very much different from everybody else's because of where we come from, because of who we are. I just want to put it out there that obviously my experience is very much different from many other Latinx's because of the color of my skin, because my parents are now both US citizens, because both of my parents work, and because what else? And because I speak very proficient English, and I had some opportunities that others didn't. Also, if you see me like moving, it's because I am trying to get my cat not to bite stuff. Don't, okay, don't. And she thinks I'm playing with her when in reality I'm not playing with her. Stop. And yeah, and like whenever she sees me on the bed, she wants to jump on the bed too. So that's why. So yeah, I kind of want to just start off by saying that the UC system really wants to be diverse. They claim to be diverse. A lot of the schools fight for pride in knowing that they're the most diverse university, that this is in this and this is in that. A lot of that can be bull crap, and a lot of times we're numbers to them because they get more funding, they get less funding, they get more donations, they get no donations. It's all of that. It's a mixture of all of that, and also like them wanting more numbers to look good. It's a number game for them, so we are numbers to them. And it's crazy because I recently saw a tweet that said like, oh, it's kind of sick how in order to apply to the to university you kind of have to make a white person or whatever like feel bad for you. And I always thought like, oh, when I applied and I like wrote my personal statement, that's so true. Like, excuse me, you kind of have to like make your life seem like crap. Either your life is crap or you've done like 100 million things. You're the next Albert Einstein. Like, there's really no in between because they don't want the in between people. They don't want the normal people, which sucks. But it's honestly like the truth of the system that like I was a part of. Like I remember like I read about how I came from a really traditional household, and like going to university wasn't even like in the cards. Like it was like, okay, so what are you gonna do? It wasn't until I started like putting the idea into my father's head that I was like, I want to go to university, but I'm gonna go away. Like I have to go away. Like he was so upset because he wanted me to be a commuter, and I was like, I can't do that. Like that's just not what's gonna happen. So like that was like a really big thing. But yeah, like just applying is really hard because you don't know anything, and a lot of times, especially as first generation, we don't know what applying to college is. We don't know what it entails. We don't know what it costs. So a lot of times, like me especially, I had to do everything by myself. Like we got a college counselor, thank God we did, and that was the first year we had one to even guide us in any like way or thing whatsoever. So I had to use that one resource I had to ask questions and be like, how much is this? How much is this? Like, and I feel like a lot of times we would overwhelm him because it was like, oh, you guys don't know this? Like, no, nobody in our lives has gone to college. Nobody knew like what this was, like what applying to college even entailed. And $30 to apply to college might not mean anything to some people. To them, it's just loose change. But $30 in a low-income community means a lot. It can mean groceries. It can mean gas money to go to work and come back. Like money is money. And to a lot of families like that were applying to college at my school, like it was a lot. Some universities were kind enough to waive the fee, but a lot of them weren't. UCs did not waive the fee. And then from then on, it went on to FAFSA, because in my time, that was when FAFSA, you did it after. It was crazy. My parents looked at me crazy when I asked for their tax papers. They were like, why do you need tax papers? You don't need to know that. Like, you stay blind to whatever your family does, like whatever your parents do, because your parents' business is your parents' business. And like, you're not supposed to know that, but like, I had to like be like, no, like I really need it. And I had to do it all by myself. I figured out taxes when I was like 17 and a half because I had to figure out how much my parents made to put it on college applications. Like, that's so crazy. And it wasn't until I went into college that like I made friends with different races, a lot of Europeans. It was weird, like Eastern Europeans that like lived in the Bay and stuff like that. They're super cool, but like it wasn't until I made friendships with them that I realized I come from a place where I don't have as much as other people have and as other people are used to. That was the craziest thing to me. Crazy. Like I was shook at how like crazy it was. Like, I had friends that their parents did fast food for them. The parents looked at all the tuition and paid for it. They didn't have to worry. All they had to do is, mom, check tuition needs to be paid. I would have to like call my parents crying because tuition was due and they only give you a week to pay it and you didn't even know it. And if you didn't sign up for monthly payments on time, you would have to pay that. And then sometimes the monthly payments are still a lot. So there were many times where I would have to call my parents crying and tell them like, we need to pay like $2,000 for tuition this quarter, because I wasn't even on the semester system. I was on the quarter system at UCSD. And they would freak out. My mom would flip. They have never spent money like that, ever. The most money they ever spent on me was on softball cleats and a softball glove. And at most, I would get those at Ross. I would get my softball cleats at Ross when the season was in. And when it came to the glove, I would go to Big Five when they were on clearance. And then when it came to paying tuition, they're like, that's a lot of money. And I'm like, I know. Like, but you wanted me to go to college. Like, it's a struggle. Like, there's so many times where I felt like I take so much from my parents because of school, like the money that I take. And I felt so guilty for so long that I ended up at CAPS, which is like the therapy like services that they have there, because I felt like I kept taking it. I felt so guilty. And like, that's the thing, like as a Latinx on campus, like especially first generation, that you feel so guilty in your heart. And you like don't know why you feel so guilty. Like, you feel so bad going to university because you're so away from your family. Like, you're over there like eating dining meals and like you have your own little bed. And there's a lot of people that come from places where they don't even have a bed, that going to university was their first bed, was their first own room. Having 3 people in their room was a little bit to them. Having a meal every meal was a lot to them. Like, and these are the things that people don't understand. Like, it's crazy, but it's the truth. It's the reality that a lot of the Latinx kids on campus live. And a lot of us work. We work like crazy. We go to work, we go to class, working class, and then an organization that we join with people that look like us so we can find a home, so we can feel comfortable. Okay. So it's like things like that. And a lot of us joined MGCs. I didn't join MGC. I just joined Hermanas Unidas, which is a Latinx like organization. A lot of fun. Enjoyed it in my 3 years. A lot of them joined sororities and fraternities. It was too much for me to join a sorority. $700 to start, and I was like, my parents can't afford that. I can't even afford $30. So it's crazy to think like a lot of these things people don't have to think about, but I had to think about, like a parking permit. I had to take the bus. I had to plan to leave an hour ahead to take the bus, because a lot of times I was like, I can't be for a parking permit this time, or I can't spend money on gas, so I have to take the bus. And I would leave it an hour ahead to make sure the bus got me at least one bus, the shuttle or something got to me. God bless the 201 of MTS at UC San Diego. They have saved my butt so many times. Like, things like that, like little things, transportation, living, food, that like people don't think about. That like, it gets really hard when you're at a UC by yourself. And you just kind of have to do it all by yourself. And yeah, like when it came to graduation, it all felt like it was really worth it. I felt like everything was finally coming together. Like this is it. Like this is everything I was looking towards. Like this is everything and more that I could ever want. Like this is step one to my dreams. And my university is cool enough to have Rasa grad, which they do every year. You have to like participate and do it. It's really cool because I was able to tell my family a speech and they were able to enjoy dinner and performances. It was really great. Uki, sorry, that was my cat. I was able to thank them for everything they've done for me. I was also able to do Latinx graduation, was where you also see masters and PhD receive their recognition for graduation. So it was really cool because like for a lot of us, I'm saying like 98% of us, it was like the first time we in real life saw somebody getting their doctorate or somebody getting a master's. For me, like I don't know anybody that has a master's. I'm the first one I know that is even going to a graduate school. Like it's weird, but it's a reality that we have, and that's just my reality. So you know, like when I walked at graduation, it was crazy. I was so excited. I was smiling from ear to ear because I was excited. Everybody I loved was there. My parents were there, my best friends were there, my now husband was there. And when they said my name, they jumped and they screamed, and I was so happy. I was so happy. Like it was all over. Like that was it. But yeah, like it's hard. It really is hard being a Latinx person or just a minority in the UC system. And it takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of strength to get away from the family and actually, but you can't let guilt take you over, and you can't let imposter syndrome take over, because it's true. Like it hurts a lot of times. These two things, imposter syndrome and guilt, like hurt a lot, because there are times when you might be in the library, you might be like having food with your friend, and you realize like I should be home, I could be home, I don't belong here. Like is this really what I want? But in reality, if you've gotten that far, you belong there. You belong there. You go there, you make your space, you make your place in that university. And that's what I did, and that's how I survived. I made my place in that university. I said, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm gonna like, and I'm gonna make my impact here, and these people will remember me. Why? Because I'm gonna make my place in that university to make sure that I take up the space that I need at the Women's Center, at the Rasa Center, and in my department. Because I know what I want, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna seek out the resources that I can that can help me when I can get help. And yeah, thank you so much. I hope I didn't ramble too much or get too much off topic, but I really wanted to talk about like being a minority in the UC system or just in the higher education system, because it is different. I know some people have it very different from mine, but this is just my story or just some experiences I have. Thank you.